The RCMP is now looking into the allegations of irregularities in Ontario Premier Doug Ford's more than $8 billion land swap aimed at building housing on the Greenbelt around Toronto. This investigation was announced as we learned of the sudden resignation of Ryan Amato, who was the Chief of Staff for Ontario's Housing Minister. Amato was the staffer responsible for choosing which sites would be opened for development. For a closer look at this investigation, we're joined by lawyer Tanya Walker. Good morning to you. Nice to see you.
Good morning to you. Thank you for having me.
So the RCMP says it's assessing whether or not to investigate this land swap after it was referred by Ontario's provincial police. Why is this with the RCMP, and what are they assessing?
Well, why this is with the RCMP is because the Ontario Provincial Police asked the RCMP to take over. The Ontario Provincial Police said that they wanted to avoid any perceived conflicts of interest. However, particulars about the perceived conflicts of interest were not provided. So I would expect our RCMP to determine whether or not any criminal charges would be laid as a result of the report that was released by the Auditor General.
I want to expand on that a little bit, because what will the RCMP investigation likely focus on?
I would believe that the investigation would focus on what could lead to a criminal charge, such as bribery. So you would need evidence that any of the developers bribed any government officials, and that might be difficult to prove. You need it in writing to definitely say you can prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. So you need access to records, emails, any type of documentation to substantiate this, and maybe even financial records to see if there were any deposits made in government officials' bank account during the time that these land developments were rendered or given permission to develop.
Will that be difficult to access, this paper trail?
I'm not too sure. I would think that the RCMP would be able to ask for this documentation or get it themselves. I'm not sure if it would be easy to determine whether or not a financial deposit, a large one, would mean that someone was bribed. It's a bit of an uphill battle to demonstrate this and prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. That's what I believe.
What could this mean for Ontario Premier Doug Ford?
Well, there would have to be evidence that Doug Ford knew or should have known that this happened. And also, in terms of bribery, that Doug Ford was also bribed. I think that would be difficult to demonstrate because if there's a donation made to his party, it doesn't necessarily mean that there was bribery. So I believe there would be a little bit of a challenge to prove this.
The story is just starting.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Tanya.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that the charges for bribing an official could be up to 14 years in jail and an undetermined fine if someone is convicted of doing this.
Well, we'll watch and see how this plays out. Tanya Walker, thank you.
Thank you.